Hi YouTube, it's ACDodd here and welcome to another episode of On The Road Tuning with me, ACDodd. And this time we've got a couple of minis for you. One is a 998 and one's a 1275. They've both got HIF 38 carbs, so let's go find out what's wrong with them and what we can do. So, here we are in Fleet and we've got a lovely mini Sprite. In this case, an Italian job. And this one's in very, very nice condition. So, lovely interior. Nice little restoration. So let's have a look under the bonnet. Okay, so under the bonnet we've got the ubiquitous 1275 A+ Sprite engine, complete with HIF 38 carburetor, 1275 engine, 850, a derivative of the 850 camshaft, 65D Dizzy, and all the restrictive air filter and everything that the factory deemed necessary for it to pass emissions. So let's go and speak to the owner. This is James. He's the owner of this lovely Italian job mini. So why have you called me out today, James?
Well, I've had it for 15 years and I've done a lot of work to it, but no one's ever had a proper look at it. No one's ever worked out, if it's running right. And I've done what I can, but I need somebody good to have a look at it. Okay.
Has it got any particular issues when you drive it?
No, it runs okay, but it feels like it should pull a little bit better, I think, but it's hard to tell.
Okay, all right. So you think it might be a bit sluggish. Well, let's dig in and see what we can find. So we've had a quick look through. Coil's right, leads are good, spark plugs are new and gap properly. The timing curve is a little bit slow, but it's making maximum power timing. So moving on to the carburetor, that's obviously a new unit. So James, the owner of this one, has obviously spent a lot of time making sure this is all right. Now, having a look at all the timing and fueling, with the air filter on, the fueling's actually very close to being nearly spot on. So as we've already heard, he was hoping for perhaps a bit more performance, but as I just said to him, in terms of what I'm seeing here, this is pretty much as Rover intended it, which is a little bit sluggish, to be fair. So what we're going to do for today is we've tried it with and without the air filter, and there's significant leaning out of the fueling when we take the air filter off. So what I'm going to do is drill the air box to get a bit more air through it. And then I think in the future there may even be the possibility that James might think about doing some bolt-on mods, but that's not for today, that's for the future. So after chatting with the owner, we've agreed to drill the airbox, which I've now done. Important when you're drilling the airbox to make sure you drill on the outside of the air filter so that the air can still get around the outside and not get underneath and miss the filter altogether. So let's get that on, and hopefully that'll make a big difference. So I've just tested the drilled airbox, and sure enough, it's actually leaned it up all the way across the rev range. So what I'm going to do now is adjust the needle to take into account the drilled airbox, and then for today that'll be the sum total of the modifications, and we can send the owner out for a test drive. So over on the needle lathe, got the AEM needle, and I've had to adjust it both at part throttle and at full power. So we'll get this back in and see what difference it makes. So we've got this one dialed in. As you can see, we've got the original airbox back on, but it's all drilled. That made a huge difference to the needle requirements. So the original needle was actually really close with the standard airbox, but as soon as we drilled that, unfortunately it went extremely lean, so I had to do quite some extensive modifications to the existing needle to make that fuel right. So what we're now going to do is send the owner out on it, but first, if I'll just let you listen to the transformation. So if you'd like to start it up. So now listen to what we got now. I think you'll agree that that sounds a lot better than when we started. Right, James, been out for a ride in it. What's it like now?
Oh, it's a different car. It is a completely different car. And it's never done that in 15 years. It's completely changed.
Now, interesting, when we checked your car, it was pretty good. the standard tune with the standard airbox was almost spot on. So the difference really comes down to the modifications we did today, which was a tiny change, 3 degrees on the timing, and then, you know, we basically Swiss cheese the airbox to get some more air in, and then it was quite amazing the amount of extra fuel that we had to put in once we realised how much more air was flowing. So in terms of driving, the transformation is...
Well, the mid-range is so much stronger, there's so much more torque, all across the band. It's a completely different car, and yet all you've done is take some plastic out and reshape the needle.
Yeah, that's it. So there's no stage 1 kit fitted?
Nothing.
No.
All standard.
Okay, so in terms of other people that might have a Sprite then, what would you say to them?
They need to call you. There's no point in fitting a stage 1 kit, it's not going to help. Get it done properly.
Okay, all right, well, thank you very much for that endorsement, and I appreciate you calling me down today with a chance to look at this lovely car, so thank you.
Thank you.
So, here we are in Surrey. Lovely car. A nice original early example. Look at that. Lovely. What's under the bonnet? So, under the bonnet we have another powerhouse, which is a standard A+ 998 with, of course, a stage 1 kit and a 65D Dizzy. So let's go and speak to the owner and see why he's called us down. Okay, so this is Paul. Paul's the owner of this nice early Mini. So why have you called me down today, Paul?
Basically to try and get it running right. I've had a little bit of a tinker with it over quite a number of months. I can get it idling, but then it doesn't drive properly. It's, you know, I can't get it running right, whatever I do.
Okay.
So it's time to call you in.
So when you say it's not running right, is it what, flat spots, no power?
All of that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Does it cut out?
Yes, it will if it's driving. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of a mixed bag of just generally not running properly.
Just not running right.
Okay.
At all. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's have a dig in and see what we can do.
Super.
Right. So first things first, looking under the bonnet, Paul said that it's not running well. So first thing I noticed is we've got an open breather. So that is definitely the cause of a lot of poor running. So first thing we're going to do is block that up. I also noticed it's got an open crank vent. There's one on the rocker box, there's one down there on the side. So normally what I would do is connect both of those and then put them into the port on the car, but I don't have the appropriate pipework to do that. So today I'm going to block that up, leave these vents open. Now this is quite common that I'm finding, certainly this year. There's on more than one occasion I've been out to customers' cars and that port on the carb is open. So this is a no-no. That either needs to be connected to the crankcase or blocked off. Now if you do connect it to the crankcase, you can't have an open vent like that or like this. It has to be a closed system. And what I mean by that is no vents, all pipes off of the crank vents into the carburettor, okay? And on the bigger engines you have a breather this side, so all in but no open, and you have to have a vented cap as well. So if you don't get that right, you end up with an air leak which causes tuning and running nightmares. So what we'll now do is let's have a look, see what we've got here. All right, then I'll give you that. That's the right call. They're all right.
Yeah, I did check the resistance of the lead, so I thought maybe we're within. And I've only got BP5 ESs in.
Well, you're all over this one, aren't you?
And I gapped them at 25 power.
Sorry, did you say you gapped a spark plug?
Well, yeah. I didn't get that astounding face. Hang on, try again.
Yeah, hang on. Did you say you gapped a spark plug? What's going on? We've got Mini owners gapping spark plugs. This is excellent. I'm going to check anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
But that's one of the reasons why it's running so well.
Yeah.
Because all the bits are right. Yeah. So, that's where we did. So you set at 25. So I like the fact you gapped it, but you gapped it wrong. This is 35 for this system.
Is it?
This is a high power system. All right. So the very fact you gapped it is good. So well done. But you need to know the ignition system. If this was a conventional ignition system, that would have been the correct setting.
Right.
But this is a 65D high power system. So
Okay.
this has 35.
Right.
So we'll do that now.
So the electronic distributor, etc., makes it the high power system, does it?
It's not just the dizzy. What makes it high power is the coil. All right.
Okay.
But the dizzy is what fires that coil. So the dizzy is capable of running a high power coil.
Right.
So to utilise it, you need to fit your spark plugs with a gap that can best use that increased output. And the reason why you have to get these right is because it affects the ignition of the fuel mix. And what that basically means is, if we don't set this, yeah, it'll run all right, but actually I can run leaner part throttle readings with the right gap.
Right.
And the more power you have in the coil, and the bigger and the more energy you can get through the spark plug, the leaner we can ignite. And when you're on a road car, lean part throttle running with no misfire is key for good economy. And of course, unfortunately, people get tied up with power. That needs fuel. No. Power is when your foot's hard down, right? So that's fine. When you're at part throttle and you're cruising, you don't want power. What you want is efficiency. So you want a good clean burn and get the most bang you can out of the least fuel you can put in the cylinder. And then you have a nice car that cruises nicely and it's efficient. And therefore you have a car that's a proper road car, so it's efficient, economical, and when you put your foot down, it goes. That's the idea. Let's make sure the tops are all tight. Right. Okay, so having got the engine started, got the blocker on there, got the engine baselined and it's running fine. So I've started the tune. So I've gone through, checked the core's the right one, got the right resistance. The timing was somewhere near right, so I've checked that, that's all good. Check the HT lead resistance, 1.6 ohms, typical Luminition, good set of resistances there. And it's got a new set of BP5 ES plugs in. So this is another owner that's been watching my videos, so I can tell because he's already gone through and made sure the resistances are right. The only thing that he did get wrong, which is an easy mistake to make, is he did gap the plugs. So amazingly, that's very good, but he closed them down to 25 thou. But as we all know, with a 65D and a high energy ignition, 35 is the order of the day. So I've re-gapped the plugs. Now I can turn my attention to the carburetor. So let's get the engine running and see what that's doing. On closer inspection, you can see we've got a brand new carburetor, which is lovely to see. That appears to be, from what I can tell, I'll take the needle out and we can see that that's an AEM needle. So that tells me that this is a brand new carburetor at some point off of a Sprite Mini, which is a 1275 engine. So having looked at that and the fueling curve, we're just about right at 2,000 and 3,000 RPM, then we go a bit lean after that. So what we're going to do is modify this needle rather than sell the customer a new one and get this one dialed in. Okay, so engine's running now. The AEM needle in there was a little bit lean, so I've adjusted that for 4,000 and 5,000 RPM to make that run obviously better, and I've also adjusted the top end fueling. So what we've now got is a nice strong sounding engine. So we'll send the owner out in it now and see what he thinks. Okay, so Paul's been out in the car. I think we can see a little bit of a smile there.
Just a bit.
All right, so tell us how it was.
Fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. It drives exactly as it should have done, how I expected it to drive, but I could never get it to go like this. Yeah, it's perfect all the way through the gears. There's no flat spots. You accelerate, you lift your foot off, it's straight back down. When you're parked up, straight back down to idle. There's no hesitancy, there's no fluctuation. It's just, yeah, what can I say? It's brilliant, well worth it. Thanks very much, appreciate it.
I think you can see the relief on his face there. Yeah, well, it's good that you got what you were expecting. So that's the main thing. And obviously you can now enjoy the car properly.
I can. Thanks very much, Adrian. I'll give you a hug after.
Okay. So if I was to say, would you recommend this to anyone else? I think I know what you'd say.
Too right. Absolutely. Well worth it. Worth every penny. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Excellent. Well, thanks for getting me down to look at such a nice car, and I'm glad I was able to make such a difference.
Thanks for your help.
Hope you enjoyed that there. I just wanted to say at the end there, that's a good example of standard cars, especially the Sprite there, completely standard engine, but it just goes to show you how restricted that standard air filter is. Even on an engine that only produces 52 horsepower, that made a huge difference by removing that filter. And then obviously drilling it, and in fact drilling it made it even leaner than running with no filter. So it just goes to show you that sometimes a filter can do good things by smoothing out the airflow. Anyway, moving on to the second car, just again I'd like to say thanks to Paul Barney there for taking the or doing the video, which you've seen in a couple of videos I put up earlier this week. But again, his car just had a standard stage 1 kit and just needed a good tune. So just a message for all those people out there that do have standard cars: it is absolutely worthwhile getting a tune up, because you don't know how bad your standard car is. So if anything is from this episode, then please take heed. Anyway, as ever, like and subscribe, share, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.